Admiral Ross stood at the window of Earth's United Defense Force headquarters, his weathered hands clasped behind his back. The view of the gleaming city below would normally bring him comfort, but not today. On the holographic display behind him, an alien message played on repeat, its implications growing more severe with each passing moment. "You have 30 Earth days to submit to Imperial rule." The message stated in perfectly translated English. "Resistance will result in your complete destruction. The Empire has ruled 10,000 worlds for 20,000 years. You are nothing before our might." Ross allowed himself a small smile. The aliens didn't know. They couldn't know. Earth had hidden its true capabilities for decades, ever since they first detected alien signals in space, while the rest of the galaxy thought humans were still playing with basic fusion drives and laser weapons. The truth lay hidden in underground bunkers and secret facilities across the solar system. The door slid open, and General Thompson walked in, carrying a datapad. "Sir, the World Council has reached a decision. All major nations agree. We proceed with Operation Dark Storm." Ross nodded slowly. "They really believe we're primitive, don't they, Jack? Their scans show our visible military capability, our public space fleet. They see our cities, our technology, and think we're easy prey. Their arrogance will be their downfall." "Sir," Thompson replied, bringing up a classified file on the main screen. "Latest tests from Jupiter Station show the quantum collapse drives are performing beyond expectations. 50 ships, that's all we'll need." The screen displayed images that would shock any alien observer. Massive warships hidden within Jupiter's storms, their hulls crafted from materials that didn't officially exist. Each vessel carried weapons that could tear apart the fabric of space itself, the result of decades of secret research and development. "What about civilian preparations?" Ross asked, finally turning from the window. "Already underway. We're moving key populations to the underground shelters, disguising it as routine drill exercises. The Empire's satellites see exactly what we want them to see, a frightened civilization scrambling to decide whether to surrender." Ross walked to his desk and picked up an old, worn compass, a family heirloom from centuries past. "Humanity has always been underestimated, Jack. When the first European explorers reached distant shores, they thought the natives primitive. When the British faced guerrilla warfare, they thought their enemies savage. Every empire in human history fell because they couldn't imagine being outmatched by those they considered inferior." A soft beep interrupted their conversation. Another message from the Empire had arrived. This one showed images of their fleet, thousands of massive warships, each one larger than anything humanity had publicly revealed. The message was clear. Resistance was futile. "Send our response," Ross ordered, setting down the compass. "Tell them we request a 10-day extension to properly prepare our submission documents. Let's see how generous our would-be conquerors are. And the fleet, sir. Keep them powered down. Deep in Jupiter's storms. The Empire's sensors are good, but they can't penetrate that atmosphere, not with our quantum masking active. When they come expecting sheep, they'll find wolves." As Thompson left the room, Ross returned to the window. Somewhere up there, beyond the blue sky, the Empire's scouts watched and waited, believing they had found another easy conquest. They had no idea that humanity had prepared for this moment for generations. 30 days, Ross muttered to himself. "In 30 days, we'll show them why you should never judge a species by its visible technology. We'll show them why humanity has survived every challenge it's ever faced." The sun was setting over the city, casting long shadows between the buildings. In homes and offices across Earth, humans went about their daily lives, most unaware of the true scale of what was coming. But they hadn't survived and thrived as a species by being weak. They had survived by being clever, resourceful, and most importantly, by being underestimated. The Empire would learn this lesson soon enough. They would learn it in fire and fury and the complete destruction of their mighty fleet. But for now, Admiral Ross would wait and plan and let them believe in their superiority. Sometimes, the best weapon was an enemy's pride. Deep within Jupiter's raging storms, Commander James Stone watched as purple lightning danced across his flagship's quantum-shielded hull. The Thunder Child was the most powerful warship humanity had ever built, yet from the outside, it looked like nothing more than a collection of storms in Jupiter's atmosphere. "Status report," he called out to his bridge crew, his voice steady despite the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. "All systems nominal, Commander," replied Officer Miller from her station. "The quantum drives are running silent. Empire satellites pass overhead every 6 hours, but their scans can't penetrate our masking field." Stone walked to the main viewing window, watching the other ships of their hidden fleet floating nearby in the gas giant's clouds. 49 vessels, each carrying weapons that could reshape reality itself. To most of the galaxy, such technology was thought impossible. Even Earth's public military used simple plasma weapons and basic shields, maintaining the illusion of a young, developing species. "Show me the Empire's fleet again," Stone ordered. The main screen lit up with images captured by Earth's deep space probes. 10,000 warships, their golden hulls gleaming in the starlight. They were beautiful in their own way, the product of 20,000 years of galactic engineering. But they were also primitive, relying on brute force rather than innovation. "They're so confident," Lieutenant Hayes commented from his tactical station. "All those ships, arranged in perfect formation, not even trying to hide their numbers." "Pride," Stone replied, "is the deadliest weakness in warfare. Our ancestors learned that lesson countless times. The British at Singapore, the Romans at Teutoburg Forest, the Spanish Armada. Superior numbers mean nothing if you're fighting an enemy you don't understand. The ship's eye, a quantum computer more powerful than all of Earth's early 21st century computers combined, displayed a simulation of their planned attack. Each human vessel carried 3 primary weapons: the reality shredder, which could tear apart the fabric of space itself; the time dilation field, which could age enemy ships thousands of years in seconds; and the quantum eraser, which could simply delete matter from existence. "Message from Earth Command," Officer Miller announced. "The Empire has granted us our requested extension. They think we're preparing surrender documents." Stone allowed himself a small smile. How generous of them. "Status of the crew training." "Final simulations complete, sir," Hayes responded. "Every crew member has run through the attack plan 500 times. We can execute the strike in our sleep." The commander walked among his bridge crew, watching them work. They were young, most under 30, but they were the best Earth had to offer. Selected from millions of candidates, trained in secret since childhood, they carried the fate of humanity on their shoulders. "Remember," Stone addressed his crew, "we're not just defending Earth. We're showing the galaxy that technological advancement isn't just about time and resources. It's about innovation, about thinking differently. The Empire has spent 20,000 years perfecting the same basic technologies. We spent 50 years discovering entirely new laws of physics." A soft alarm sounded. Another Imperial scan passing overhead. Through the clouds of Jupiter, Stone could imagine their satellites, searching for any sign of resistance, finding nothing but storm clouds and gas. "They say humanity is young," Stone continued, "that we're primitive because we've only reached the stars recently. They don't understand that our youth is our strength. We don't accept limitations. We don't believe in impossible things. When they said quantum mechanics couldn't be used for weapons, we proved them wrong. When they said space-time couldn't be manipulated, we found a way." The crew listened intently, their hands steady on their stations. Through the windows, more purple lightning illuminated the hidden fleet, humanity's true power, waiting in the clouds of Jupiter. 2 more weeks, Stone said quietly. 2 weeks of hiding, of letting them think they've won. Then we'll show them what humanity is truly capable of. Let them come with their 10,000 ships. We'll teach them why quality always beats quantity. In the storms of Jupiter, 50 ships waited silently, their crews ready, their weapons primed. The Empire would never know what hit them. The Imperial fleet appeared like stars being born. 10,000 ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Mars, their golden hulls reflecting the distant sunlight. At their center, the massive command ship, Imperial Dawn, dwarfed all others, its size rivaling a small moon. High Admiral Marcus stood on its bridge, looking at the blue planet he had once called home. His black Imperial uniform felt tight around his neck as he remembered his reasons for betraying Earth: power, immortality, and the Empire's advanced medicine that had cured his terminal illness. All he had to do was give them Earth's location. "Status report," he ordered, his voice cold and mechanical. "All ships in position." High Admiral reported his alien second-in-command, whose blue skin marked him as one of the Empire's elite warriors. "Earth's pathetic defenses are just as your intelligence suggested. A few hundred primitive ships, basic orbital platforms, nothing that could harm even our smallest vessel." Marcus nodded slowly. "And their military movements?" "They scatter like insects, High Admiral. Their ships huddle close to their planet. Their leaders debate in their council chambers. Everything suggests they will surrender." But something felt wrong. Marcus had grown up on Earth, had served in their space force before his defection. He knew humanity's history, their tendency to fight against impossible odds. Their apparent weakness seemed too perfect, too complete. "Launch another scan," he ordered. "Full spectrum, maximum power. I want every asteroid, every moon, every piece of space debris examined." The scan went out in waves of invisible energy, painting a detailed picture of the solar system, Mars and its colonies, the asteroid belt, Jupiter's distant storms. Everything appeared exactly as it should be. "Sir," one of the sensor operators called out, "we're detecting unusual energy readings from their cities. They appear to be moving large populations underground." Marcus smiled grimly. "Of course they are, preparing for a hopeless resistance. Typical human stubbornness." But a nagging doubt remained in his mind. Something about Earth's behavior didn't match their historical patterns. He brought up the message they had sent requesting more time for surrender preparations. The wording was perfect. Humble, frightened, exactly what you'd expect from a primitive civilization facing overwhelming force. Perhaps too perfect. "High Admiral," his second-in-command interrupted his thoughts. "The Imperial Regent demands an update." The massive screen at the front of the bridge lit up, showing the Regent's ancient face. Like all high-ranking Imperial officials, he had lived for thousands of years through their advanced technology. "Why is Earth not yet under our control?" the Regent demanded, his voice echoing through the bridge. Marcus bowed low. "My lord, we are following standard protocol for primitive world acquisition. Their surrender is all but certain. We show them our power, give them time to accept their fate, then take control with minimal damage to infrastructure. You assured us this world would fall easily," the Regent reminded him. "That despite their reputation for violence, they would recognize the futility of resistance. And they will, my lord. Their visible military force is exactly as I reported. Primitive ships with basic weapons. They cannot possibly resist us." The Regent's eyes narrowed. "The word visible concerns me, traitor. You of all people should know humanity's capacity for deception." Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. "My lord, I have ordered continuous scans. If they had any hidden forces, we would detect them. For your sake, I hope you are right." The Regent's image vanished, leaving Marcus alone with his doubts. He turned back to the view of Earth, remembering something his old commander used to say. The most dangerous enemy is the one who appears weakest before the fight. "Launch another scan," he ordered suddenly. "Focus on Jupiter this time. Something about those storms doesn't feel right." As his crew hurried to obey, Marcus watched his homeworld and wondered if he had underestimated humanity's capacity for deception. The Empire had conquered 10,000 worlds, but none of them had been Earth. None of them had been human. Director Anna Wells walked into the grand meeting hall of Earth's United Nations building, her steps echoing off marble floors. The room had been specially modified for this historic meeting, the first official diplomatic contact between Earth and the Galactic Empire. Holographic projectors hummed to life as the Imperial delegation appeared, led by a stern-faced alien official. Behind him stood High Admiral Marcus, his black uniform a stark contrast to the golden armor of his Imperial colleagues. "Welcome, noble representatives of the Empire," Wells said, bowing slightly. She had practiced this performance for weeks. Every gesture, every word had to suggest submission and fear. "Earth is honored by your patience with our request for additional time." The alien official nodded, his elongated head reflecting the light. "The Empire is generous to those who show wisdom in accepting its rule. Are your surrender documents prepared?" Wells pulled out a thick folder filled with papers. Actual paper, another carefully chosen detail to reinforce Earth's apparent primitive nature. "We have preliminary agreements, but several points require clarification." Deep beneath the meeting hall, in a hidden bunker, Admiral Ross watched the proceedings through secure cameras. Beside him, multiple screens showed real-time data from Jupiter, where the hidden fleet remained undetected in the gas giant's storms. "She's doing well," Ross muttered. "Every move perfectly calculated to make them underestimate us." His assistant nodded. "The Empire's sensors just completed another sweep. Their focus is entirely on Mars and Earth. They're not paying attention to Jupiter anymore." Back in the meeting hall, Wells was carefully going through the surrender terms, raising small, meaningless objections that made Earth look both primitive and frightened. "About the technology transfer section," she said, flipping through her papers with slightly trembling hands. "We're concerned about the integration of Imperial tech with our systems. Our computers are quite basic compared to yours." High Admiral Marcus stepped forward, his face showing a mix of contempt and suspicion. "Director Wells, these delays begin to test the Empire's patience. Perhaps a demonstration of our fleet's power would help speed your decision." Wells allowed her face to show just the right amount of fear. "No, please. We simply want to ensure a smooth transition. Our people are frightened enough already." The alien official raised a hand to silence Marcus. "Your caution is noted, Director. The Empire has found that primitive species often need time to accept their new reality. You have 3 more days to finalize these documents." As the holographic projections faded, Wells maintained her worried expression until she was sure they were gone. Only then did she allow herself a small smile. In his command ship, Marcus watched recordings of the meeting, his frown deepening. "Show me the analysis of her body language," he ordered. "Heart rate elevated, skin conductance suggesting stress, vocal patterns indicating submission," his aide reported. "All consistent with a frightened primitive facing superior force." Marcus shook his head. Too consistent, too perfect. He remembered his own training in Earth's diplomatic corps. "Run a deep scan of the UN building." "Sir, we've already scanned it 12 times." "Do it again. There's something we're missing." "There has to be." Meanwhile, in the Jupiter fleet, Commander Stone received the latest update from Earth. 3 days, he told his crew. "They gave us 3 more days." "They're getting suspicious," Lieutenant Hayes noted. "That Marcus knows something isn't right." Stone nodded. "But suspicion isn't enough. They have to be absolutely certain to divert resources from Mars to Jupiter. And by the time they are certain..." He let the sentence hang. Officer Miller spoke up from her station. "Commander, quantum drives are still running silent. The storm is actually helping mask our energy signatures. Even their deep scans can't distinguish us from Jupiter's natural phenomena." Stone looked out at the swirling clouds hiding his fleet. 200 years of warfare taught humanity one crucial lesson. Sometimes the best place to hide is in plain sight. Let them scan. Let them suspect. By the time they figure it out, it'll be too late. The purple lightning of Jupiter's storms continued to dance across the hulls of humanity's hidden ships, nature itself helping to conceal the weapon that would soon shock the galaxy. The time had come. In Jupiter's stormy atmosphere, Commander Stone stood on the bridge of the Thunderchild, watching his tactical display. The Empire's massive fleet had moved closer to Earth, preparing to accept what they thought would be humanity's surrender. "All ships report ready, Commander," Officer Miller announced, her voice steady despite the tension. "Quantum drives charged, reality shredders primed, time dilation field stable." Stone nodded, his eyes fixed on the screen showing the Imperial fleet. 10,000 golden ships arranged in perfect formation, their arrogance visible in how tightly they clustered together. They hadn't even bothered to maintain defensive spacing. "Message from Earth Command," Lieutenant Hayes called out. "Director Wells has begun the final meeting. Admiral Ross gives us the green light." Stone took a deep breath. "Send to all ships. Operation Dark Storm begins now. Launch Sequence Alpha." Across 50 hidden warships, crews moved with practiced precision. In the clouds of Jupiter, the massive storms began to shift and change. What had looked like natural weather patterns suddenly took on purpose and direction. On the Imperial command ship, High Admiral Marcus was watching Earth's final surrender meeting when alarms began blaring. "High Admiral," his sensor officer shouted, multiple contacts emerging from Jupiter. 50. No, cannot confirm count. Energy readings are impossible. Marcus rushed to the screen. "Show me." The image made his blood run cold. Jupiter's storms were parting like curtains, revealing shapes that shouldn't exist. Human ships, but unlike anything the Empire had ever seen. Their hulls seemed to bend reality around them, their very presence distorting space itself. "Impossible," the alien second-in-command whispered. "Their technology was primitive. We saw their fleet." "You saw what they wanted you to see," Marcus replied, finally understanding. "Sound general quarters. All ships to battle stations." But Stone and his fleet were already moving. The 50 ships accelerated at speeds that violated normal physics, their quantum drives allowing them to partially exist in multiple points in space simultaneously. "They're launching fighters," Hayes reported, watching the Imperial fleet scramble to respond. "Estimate 20,000 small craft along with their capital ships." Stone allowed himself a grim smile. "They still think this is going to be a conventional battle. All ships, activate quantum shields and begin attack pattern Omega." The Thunderchild led the charge, its hull rippling with purple energy. Around it, 49 other ships moved in perfect formation, each one representing the pinnacle of human military technology. In the Imperial fleet, panic began to spread. Their sensors couldn't lock onto the human ships. The quantum drives made them appear to be everywhere and nowhere at once. "High Admiral," the sensor officer screamed. "Their weapons, we've never seen anything like this. They're not using plasma or lasers, or..." Marcus cut him off. "Order the fleet to spread out. Now, get us out of this tight formation before." But it was too late. The human fleet had already reached attack range. On the Thunderchild's bridge, Stone gave the order they had trained years for. "All ships, weapons free. Show them what humanity has been hiding." 50 ships against 10,000. To any normal military observer, it would have seemed like suicide. But these weren't normal ships, and this wouldn't be a normal battle. The first quantum weapons fired, their effects immediately visible. Reality itself seemed to crack around the Imperial ships. Space twisted in impossible ways. Time began to flow strangely in different sections of the enemy fleet. "My God," Hayes whispered, watching the tactical display. "It's working exactly like the simulations said it would." Stone nodded grimly. The Empire spent 20,000 years becoming the biggest and strongest kid on the block. But humanity, we spent our time learning how to punch above our weight class. As the battle began in earnest, Stone thought of all the generations of humans who had worked in secret for this moment. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, all keeping the greatest military secret in human history. "Let's show them," he said quietly, "why you should never underestimate humanity." The real battle was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same. Time, 0 o'clock. The first wave of quantum weapons struck the Imperial fleet. Reality shredders opened tears in spacetime, their purple energy beams connecting with the golden hulls of enemy ships. There was no explosion, no dramatic fire. The affected ships simply ceased to exist, deleted from reality itself. "First strike successful," Lieutenant Hayes reported, his voice tight with concentration. 800 enemy ships eliminated in initial volley. Time, 05. High Admiral Marcus watched in horror as his mighty fleet began to disappear. The Empire's strongest shields, perfected over 20,000 years, might as well have been paper against these weapons. His sensors couldn't even properly track what was happening. "Impossible," he whispered, watching another battle group vanish. "Our shields. Our armor." "The weapons aren't hitting the shields, sir," his science officer screamed. "They're deleting the space the ships occupy." Time, 0:10. On the Thunderchild's bridge, Commander Stone watched the tactical display as his fleet executed their carefully planned attack. Second wave. Activate time dilation fields. Beams of blue-white energy lanced out from the human ships. Where they struck, time itself went mad. Imperial ships aged thousands of years in seconds. Their mighty hulls rusted and crumbled, their crews turned to dust, their advanced technology decaying into worthless scrap. Time, 0:15. "They're trying to retreat," Officer Miller announced, watching the enemy fleet's movements. "Their faster-than-light drives are powering up." "Too late," Stone replied quietly. "Deploy quantum anchors." The human fleet released special weapons that created localized areas where faster-than-light travel became impossible. The Empire's ships found themselves trapped, their most reliable escape route cut off. Time, 0:20. In his command ship, Marcus watched his fleet die. Ships that had conquered 1,000 worlds vanished in moments. Weapons that had broken the strongest defenses in the galaxy proved useless. The Empire's mighty technology, developed over millennia, was being countered by weapons that shouldn't even be possible. "Send the message," he ordered, his voice breaking. "Warn the Empire. Earth, humanity. They're not what we thought. They'd been hiding their true power. They've mastered sciences we never even." His words cut off as a reality shredder beam struck nearby, erasing 3 destroyer squadrons from existence. Time, 0:25. Enemy fleet at 40% strength, Hayes reported. "They're breaking formation, trying to scatter." Stone nodded grimly. "Release the hunter-seekers." Small, automated drones launched from the human fleet. Unlike their parent ships, these moved conventionally through space, but each carried a miniature quantum eraser. They chased down the fleeing Imperial ships, methodically removing them from reality. Time, 0:30. The Empire's formation had completely collapsed. What had started as an organized fleet of 10,000 ships had become a chaos of panic and destruction. Some ships tried to ram the human fleet in desperation, only to discover that the quantum shields made such attacks impossible. Their ships passed right through the human vessels as if they weren't even there. Detecting a priority target, Miller called out. The Imperial Dawn. Their command ship, High Admiral Marcus, is trying to escape through the quantum anchor field. Stone watched the massive ship struggle. "Let him go. We want survivors to tell this story." Time, 0:35. The battle, if it could even be called that, was effectively over. Where once 10,000 mighty warships had floated in space, now only debris and scattered survivors remained. The entire engagement had taken just over 30 seconds. "Status report," Stone ordered, though he already knew the answer. "Human fleet casualties, 0, Hayes responded. "All ships functioning normally. Quantum drive levels at 60% and holding." Enemy fleet, 98% destroyed or disabled, remaining 2% in full retreat. Stone looked at the cleanup drones already moving to collect debris. 30 seconds had changed the course of human history. 30 seconds had broken the back of an empire that had ruled for 20,000 years. "Send word to Earth Command," he ordered quietly. "Operation Dark Storm is complete. The galaxy just learned why you should never corner a species that specializes in impossible solutions." As the surviving Imperial ships fled toward the edge of the solar system, they carried with them a message that would shake the foundations of galactic civilization. Humanity had not been hiding in fear. They had been hiding their strength. 1 week after the battle, Admiral Ross stood in the same window where he had received the Empire's ultimatum. But now he watched a different sight. The remnants of Imperial ships being studied by Earth's scientists, their golden hulls looking dull and primitive compared to humanity's quantum technology. "Final report from our cleanup crews," General Thompson said, walking into the office. "We've collected enough Imperial technology to advance our public space program by 50 years. The perfect cover for gradually revealing our true capabilities." Ross nodded. "And the survivors?" "High Admiral Marcus and about 200 Imperial ships escaped. Our long-range sensors show them spreading the word across the galaxy. The Empire's grip on power is already weakening. On dozens of worlds, the news was spreading like wildfire. The unbeatable Imperial fleet had been destroyed in seconds. The primitive humans had revealed technology that broke the laws of physics as the Empire understood them. The balance of power was shifting. In the Jupiter shipyards, now revealed to the public, Commander Stone supervised the construction of new ships. The Thunderchild floated nearby, its quantum drives powering down for the first time in years. "The Empire won't stay quiet forever," Officer Miller said, standing beside him. "They'll be back, with new weapons, new defenses." Stone smiled. "Let them come. What they don't understand is that we showed them our first-generation quantum weapons. Our scientists have already designed the second generation." Reports were coming in from across the galaxy. Species that had lived under Imperial rule for thousands of years were beginning to resist. The myth of Imperial invincibility had been shattered, not by numbers or brute force, but by human ingenuity. In the United Nations building, Director Wells met with representatives from 20 different alien species, former Imperial subjects, now seeking alliance with Earth. "We don't understand," one alien diplomat said. "How did you hide such power? Why didn't you use it sooner?" Wells answered carefully. "Humanity learned long ago that appearing weak when you are strong is better than appearing strong when you are weak. We waited, we prepared, and we struck only when we were ready." On the Imperial throne world, light years away, the Regent faced rebellion for the first time in 10,000 years. The Empire's reputation for technological superiority had been its greatest weapon, and humanity had broken it in 30 seconds. Back on Earth, Admiral Ross picked up his old compass again. "Interesting thing about humanity," he told Thompson. "We've never been good at accepting limitations. Tell us something's impossible, and we'll find a way to do it. Tell us we can't break the laws of physics, and we'll rewrite those laws." The general nodded. The Empire ruled through fear and overwhelming force. They never imagined someone could develop technology so far beyond their understanding. "That was their mistake," Ross replied. "They spent 20,000 years perfecting the same technologies, making them bigger, more powerful. But humanity, we looked for completely new solutions. We didn't try to build a better plasma cannon. We figured out how to delete matter from reality itself." Across the solar system, humanity's hidden facilities were coming to light. Research centers in Mercury's core, shipyards in Jupiter's storms, quantum laboratories deep under Mars' surface. A century of secret preparation revealed at last. "What happens now?" Thompson asked. "Now," Ross smiled. "Now we help rebuild the galaxy, not as conquerors like the Empire, but as teachers. There are species out there who've suffered under Imperial rule for millennia. We'll show them what's possible when you stop accepting impossible as an answer. The Admiral looked out at his city again. Human children played in the streets, looking up occasionally to watch alien ships moving peacefully through the sky. The Empire's reign of terror was over, broken not by superior numbers or brute force, but by humanity's greatest weapons: innovation, deception, and the ability to think beyond the impossible. The galaxy's entering a new age, Ross said quietly, and humanity will help lead the way. Not because we're stronger or older or more numerous, but because we never stopped asking, what if? In the depths of space, the quantum drives of Earth's ships hummed with power, ready to defend their newfound peace. Humanity had revealed itself at last, and the galaxy would never be the same.